Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Marvel's Spider-Man on Disney XD. So let's start talking about this episode. It is the premiere, so they did an hour episode, so part 1 and part 2 back-to-back, which I thought was smart. But let's start talking about the episode. So here we get to see it's the start of Spider-Man's career. So it's the kind of classic first costume for Spider-Man, you know, updated a bit for the show, but we see that he's not used to being Spider-Man yet. He definitely makes a lot of mistakes, and as this goes on, he's still in Midtown High. He has friends there. Liz Allen is referenced in this episode, but he is smart. He belongs in even bigger school for science, which is Horizon High, and his friend Harry Osborn's going there, but he's not kicked out, but he's on leave for Horizon Labs, or Horizon High, and he goes back to Midtown High, and this leaves a spot for Peter to join the high school. And of course you have a lot of similar storylines we've seen in the past for Spider-Man, like Aunt May not being able to pay the bills, talking to Anna Watson, which was kind of a cool reference, saying, oh, I can't pay the bills, and Peter feels guilty, but instead of working for something like the Daily Bugle, he's going to be helping out Max, that way he could pay for his education. And there's other characters introduced here too, as Peter's getting used to his new life, and that is Miles Morales, which we all know as the current Spider-Man in the regular universe and the Ultimate Spider-Man, previously. And then we have Anya, who is Arana / Spider-Girl. But also referenced, but not seen in this episode, is Gwen Stacy. So she'll be playing a part 2 in Horizon Labs / Horizon High. So what did I think of the episode overall? I like this better than Ultimate Spider-Man. I wasn't a big fan of it, even though I think it grew as a show as it continued and we got into some of the Spider-Verse stuff and more serialized storytelling. So I like that about Ultimate Spider-Man, but I did not like the beginning of the show. But here I feel like it kind of goes to Peter's basics, Spider-Man's basics a bit more. Feels a bit Silver Age, but definitely has a lot of mixture of different Spider-Man eras. Like you have Harry Osborn as kind of the villain, but best friends. That's something we all know and love from the Spider-Man mythos. We have, again, Aunt May not being able to pay the bills, but then there's other characters introduced, like Arana, who's, you know, from the early 2000s, Miles Morales, who's more of a recent character, and Gwen Stacy, who's obviously big in Peter's mythos, but will she be Spider-Gwen, you know? So there's a lot of questions there. So, you know, aspects I liked about the episode was that I enjoyed the kind of callbacks. I think the humor was a bit better in this show than Ultimate Spider-Man. There were times I chuckled, but then there were times I'm like, alright, press the pause button. It's a little bit too much of corny Peter Parker, but that's also Spider-Man. He's always there for the one-liners, so I kind of expect that. I will say the opener was really boring. There's a lot of just action scenes for the sake of action scenes, and I think that's the biggest negative of the show, is that I feel like it's trying to make kids entertained, but I think kids would just be entertained by the interaction of these characters. I feel like they throw too much action just for the sake of action. The whole first action sequence was like 8 to 9 minutes. It was half the episode of the first episode, and it was him just going against the Vulture, and it wasn't really dealing with any of the storyline that came after it. At least the other action sequences had to do with Harry, or, you know, him becoming part of Horizon High, because he was able to be Spider-Man in that moment and figure out what happened. So those moments at least connected to the story, but the first action sequence I think could have totally been cut out and there could have been more story. Also, as a Gwen fan, I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see her, and I think there's some lost opportunity of the show right now. Doesn't mean they're not gonna do it. There's so many references to other Spider characters. Like I mentioned, Arana, Miles, Gwen, you know, maybe being Spider-Gwen, especially with some promo art coming out from the show with Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen. So I wish they kind of did that in the beginning. I don't know how to feel once again being in the beginning of Spider-Man's career and him, you know, just living life. I mean, we've seen it before. I don't know if it's really original, but I do think the balance between Peter Parker and Spider-Man's better here. We really get a good feel of both worlds, and hopefully we get to see some good arcs, some interesting character interactions, because we have the introduction of these characters, but not really the relationships yet. Hopefully that builds as the show goes on and it becomes a bit more serialized. And we'll see if there's more Spider characters included. But right now I do think it's just going to be focused on Spider-Man because, like I said, it's the beginning of his career. So we'll see what happens. Overall, it was an okay premiere. It wasn't bad. It didn't blow my mind, but I will continue to watch it to see where it goes, and hopefully it grows as a show after this premiere. But let me know in the comments below what you thought. Please let me know if you'd like me to continue to review the show. Next week, I'm going to try to get a review up, but I will be at Chicago Wizard World, so I don't know if I will be able to. But after that, I'll get some reviews up for this if you want me to review this show. But please let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.